rise and fall of the Ottoman Empire, when power outlives its purpose. Disclaimer: some visuals and narrative elements in this documentary are AI generated for educational and storytelling purposes. While the events are based on real history, certain scenes are dramatized for clarity and engagement. For more than 600 years, an empire stretched across 3 continents. It ruled the Middle East, dominated North Africa, controlled Eastern Europe, and stood at the crossroads of the world. It defeated kings, crushed armies, shaped religions, and influenced the destiny of millions. Its walls protected the greatest city of its age, and its armies terrified the world. But like every empire before it, the moment came when its power began to crack. Its rulers grew comfortable, its vision blurred, and its enemies learned how to strike back. This is a story of a dynasty built on ambition, glory, belief, and war, and how that same power slowly dragged it toward collapse. This is the rise and fall of the Ottoman Empire, one of the longest-lasting empires in human history. If you love cinematic stories about power, ambition, history, and the empires that shaped our world, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video. Your support helps us keep building more powerful documentaries. To help you fully understand how the Ottomans went from a small tribe to a global superpower, and how centuries of glory slowly decayed into collapse, we will divide this documentary into clear chapters: the origin, the expansion, the golden age, the stagnation, the decline, the collapse, the legacy. Every chapter reveals the ambition, decisions, victories, and fatal weaknesses that built one of the greatest empires the world has ever seen, and the forces that destroyed it. Let us begin. Chapter 1: The Origin, the Birth of a Warrior State. The year was 1299. In a small corner of Anatolia, a Turkish tribal leader named Osman I founded a tiny principality. He wasn't wealthy. He had no powerful allies, no great inheritance. But he had something more powerful: opportunity. The Byzantine Empire, once mighty, was crumbling, fighting among themselves, losing land, losing influence. Anatolia was a patchwork of weak states, ready for a bold leader to rise. Osman seized that moment. He united tribes, forged alliances, and built an army of horsemen who lived for war. This was the beginning of the Ottomans, named after Osman himself. His son Orhan expanded the territory even further, capturing key cities and building the empire's first institutions. But the true rise began with Osman's grandson, a warrior king who would transform the Ottomans from a frontier tribe into a global force. Chapter 2: The Expansion. From warriors to conquerors. Enter Mehmed II, a name that would echo through history. At just 21 years old, he set his sights on the greatest prize imaginable: Constantinople, the legendary capital of the Byzantine Empire. For 1,000 years, its walls had never fallen. Kings and generals had tried and failed, but Mehmed was relentless. He built massive cannons, including a giant bombard powerful enough to shatter ancient stone. He blockaded the city from land and sea. He outmaneuvered defenders with brilliant strategy. Then, on May 29, 1453, the unthinkable happened. The walls of Constantinople fell. The city that had stood for a millennium belonged to the Ottomans. Mehmed rode through the gates, and the world changed forever. He renamed the city Istanbul, making it the new capital of the empire. The Ottomans were no longer a frontier state. They were now a global empire. Over the next centuries, their armies swept across Eastern Europe, Arabia, North Africa, the Balkans, the Middle East. They controlled trade routes, conquered powerful kingdoms, ruled holy cities, and stood as the dominant Muslim empire of their age. Their navy ruled the Mediterranean. Their armies were nearly unstoppable, and their sultans were feared and respected across the world. Chapter 3: The Golden Age. When power peaks beyond imagination, the Ottoman Empire reached its height under Suleiman the Magnificent, one of the greatest rulers in world history. Under his leadership, the empire's borders reached their maximum. The legal system was reformed, architecture flourished, trade expanded, the arts reached a golden age. Suleiman wasn't just a conqueror. He was a builder, a reformer, and a visionary. This was the era of the Janissaries, elite soldiers trained from childhood, loyal only to the Sultan. This was the era of the imperial harem, where powerful women influenced politics behind the scenes. This was the era of advancements in science, astronomy, medicine, engineering. The Ottoman Empire was a multicultural powerhouse that ruled 30 million people and controlled key trade routes between East and West. But like all empires at their height, the seeds of decline were already forming. Power peaks, then begins to rot from within. Chapter 4: The Stagnation. When an empire grows comfortable, after centuries of glory, the Ottomans began to slow down, not because of one single failure, but because of patterns. Weak sultans, court corruption, Janissaries becoming political, inflation, outdated military tactics, too many wars, too much territory to control. Europe was changing rapidly, entering the Renaissance, scientific revolution, and industrial age. But the Ottomans remained focused on old systems, old strategies, old beliefs. Their armies were strong, but their ideas were not. Other nations modernized. The Ottomans defended tradition. Ambition turned into comfort. Comfort turned into stagnation. Stagnation turned into weakness. And when an empire stops evolving, its enemies catch up. Chapter 5: The Decline. When enemies learn your weaknesses, Europe grew stronger. The Ottomans grew slower. The empire suffered major defeats, including the Battle of Lepanto, the Siege of Vienna, the Russo-Turkish Wars. Their navy weakened, their armies shrank, their finances suffered, rebellions began. Greece, Serbia, Egypt, the Balkans. Independence movements spread like wildfire. Meanwhile, the empire became known as the sick man of Europe, a former superpower, now struggling to survive. Every empire has a moment when the world senses its weakness. For the Ottomans, that moment had arrived. Chapter 6: The Collapse. When war finishes what decay started, then came World War I, a conflict that swallowed nations whole. The Ottomans joined the Central Powers, Germany and Austria-Hungary. It was a fatal decision. They fought bravely, But the empire was already collapsing internally. Economic problems, ethnic conflicts, corruption, old military tactics, no industrial power. The war shattered what remained. Arab territories revolted. British forces pushed in. Russian forces advanced. The empire fractured. In 1918, the Ottomans lost a war. Their empire was carved apart. Sultanate abolished. Caliphate abolished. Territories seized. What remained became modern Turkey, under the leadership of Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, who ended the Ottoman state officially in 1922. An empire that lasted over 600 years was gone. Chapter 7, The Legacy. When an empire becomes a memory, even in its fall, the Ottoman Empire left behind an enormous legacy. It influenced architecture, law, culture, religion, diplomacy, trade, cuisine, art, language. Cities like Istanbul, Sarajevo, Baghdad, and Cairo still carry Ottoman fingerprints. The empire shaped the modern Middle East, the Balkans, and Eastern Europe. Its fall created new countries. Its reforms inspired new systems. Its mistakes warned future leaders. And its history teaches us one eternal truth. Empires fall not by force alone, but by forgetting the ambition that once built them. If this documentary changed how you see empires, ambition, and the forces that shape our world, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Empires of Ambition. Here, we explore the rise and fall of the world's greatest powers and the lessons they leave behind. Thank you for watching. And remember, ambition builds empires. Blindness destroys them.